So today I want to take you guys back to the roots of where it started and how I got introduced to pageantry. So it started with my daughter. We did some photography with her and she did some baby contests, and as she was getting out of that age where she could participate in baby contests, a photographer had told us about the pageant system that her and I are currently with. My daughter absolutely loved it. We always gave her the option, either yes or no, and she always wanted to do it. There was never a doubt for her about participating. And slowly over time, as I saw how much fun she was having and learned that the system that I'm with has an adult category, that is how I got introduced to it. So, touching base on that and kind of the roots of how I got introduced to the pageant world, I want to do a video on being a pageant mom because I take it very seriously. I love supporting my kids and being their cheerleader. And advice and little tricks and tips that I found along the way that have been very helpful and I feel have helped my child continue to enjoy doing the pageants and also succeed. So I hope this stuff helps anybody else who may be wondering or new to the pageant world or currently in it, but they're just looking for a little trick or something that may help. So I am so excited to share these with you guys. So one of the things that I have learned is you only do as good as you feel. So that goes for all age groups, especially children. If they're very uncomfortable in their tuxedo or their costume or their dress, they're not gonna want to do anything. They're not gonna want to walk if it's difficult to walk in. They're not gonna want to lift a heavy dress just because it looks good. So keep in mind that when you are picking outfits for your child, use their input. Use their input on the color that they may like. Use their ability. Can they walk in this? Use the fact that, you don't want to put a child in a dress that is not going to fit properly just because it may be a $2,000 dress and look gorgeous. If it doesn't fit your child properly, your child's going to be uncomfortable. They're going to feel uneasy, and it's all about how they feel on stage. You can't feel just like an adult. You're not going to feel confident and look confident and do your best work if you're constantly worried in your head that your outfit is uncomfortable to be in. So please keep in mind, parents out there, because I've seen it happen unfortunately a few times where they are just more concerned about the outfit. And just keep in mind that, this is for your child and their input does matter. For me, my daughter, I always ask her the color. I might pick a couple different ones I think look good, but I always ask her, which one do you like? And I take her input into extreme consideration because she's wearing it, not me. So just like you wouldn't want somebody else picking your outfits for the pageant, they don't want to have no input in what they're going to wear. Okay? Another thing I want to talk about is shoes. So shoes you always want them, even for the babies. They're visually appealing, but as they get older, understand that, especially when the kids, like I'm in this area now where your kids are going from the little kids to the bigger kids, and they don't want to wear the tutu dresses. They don't want to wear the flat shoes with the poofy socks, they want to wear little heels and stuff. So just keep in mind your child's age and their ability. The biggest question is, can they walk in them? And practice in different areas. For me, with my daughter in the nice weather, we take her shoes outside. So if she wants to try walking in tiny little heels that are like this big, we always go outside. Can you walk on the uneven ground with them? Because it's more important that they fit properly. They're not too tight. And if they're too loose, your child may fall. So make sure they fit properly and make sure that they're comfortable in them. Because if they're not comfortable in them, you wouldn't want to walk all day in shoes that you're not comfortable in. So sometimes, as parents, when we're helping our kids, look nice for photos and stuff, we don't always take into consideration, we're like, oh, that's their shoe size, so these are going to be fine to wear. But just like adults, sometimes breaking in new shoes can really hurt. So I always kind of put like a band-aid on the inside when they're new shoes, and make sure I have them well in advance for her to wear them. And even if she says, hey mommy, I want to put these on, and we're just staying home all day, I let her wear them if she wants to. So please keep in mind that, you don't want to shove a 6-year-old in like high heels this big. You want to make sure that your child is comfortable, because again, they're children. They're doing this because it's fun to them and they want to do this. Not, I hate to use the term, but like, not like some sport parents, where, sometimes the parents get more into it than the children. So just make sure that they're comfortable. I think once I had an issue with my daughter where she hated her shoes and I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know why she was having a hard time with her walk. And then when I sat down and I talked to her, I was able to realize that her shoes were just, I don't know, they were a little hard at the back, so they were rubbing against her ankles. So just keep in mind, like babies and like young children, all children of all ages, if they're not comfortable with what they're wearing, shoes or dress, they're not gonna want to be themselves and let themselves shine on stage, because that uncomfortability is going to show in their face. It's going to show in the ability to walk as fluently and stuff as they may want to and may usually do. Talent. So as you guys know by now, I'm a huge supporter of talent. I really do think it is a good idea, and I really do think that's where kids can shine, and build their confidence. Talents are all ranges. They're all different. Some might not seem like talents to others, but they do to other people. So keep your opinion open. But the advice that I have is let your kid choose. So my daughter loves to sing. So I always take her input in the song. I never push a song she doesn't want to do or she's not comfortable with. And even the day of the pageant, if she looks at me and says, Mama, I don't want to do talent, I'm nervous or something, that's okay. I let her know, that's okay, baby girl. This is for you. You're not going to do anything that you don't want to do. So please make sure that they're comfortable with talent and make it fun for them to practice. Like, it doesn't have to feel like work. And I want people to really understand that your child deserves the creativity, and the ability to voice their input to you and choose, have input on what they want to do. Practice. So practice is important. And I understand that sometimes practice can feel like work. And we don't want that. So always be super positive, make it really fun. For me, I was given great advice by our system director at one point when my daughter first started, to set up teddy bears or dolls and let them be the audience and the judges. Or something my daughter likes to do is she'll take pieces of paper and she'll draw their faces, and then we'll stick it to the wall or something. Other times we let her kind of practice in front of family and friends. So make sure that it's fun for them. The more fun it is, the more they're going to be themselves, and the more they're going to enjoy it, which is what really matters in the end. Always be positive. I know as children get older, you might have advice because there's more expected of them and stuff. And I just want you to remember that, you can give input and you can help them see areas where they can improve and stuff through positive reinforcement. Hey, why don't we try this? Or how do you feel you did with your walk? And if they say that they feel like they could have done better, okay, did you want to try again? And if they say they're not really sure what to do, okay, well, did you want to try to twirl in your dress? Always make suggestions and be positive versus telling them, no, you didn't do that right. You need to do it like this. Because that's just going to suck the fun out of it. They're not going to want to do it. Your mom, they're going to be combative with you because of that. And you don't want to be that person either. You want to see your kid shine and enjoy being able to watch your kid have fun. So, positive reinforcement is a huge part of it. I want people to remember that you're always your kid's cheerleader. Always. Even if they didn't do as good as they thought they normally could do. They did their best. And the best thing that they can do is be themselves. So you have to remember that children take things, if they don't maybe get the title they want, they take things to heart. They don't understand. So the more that you can be proud of them and you can cheer them on and be that cheerleader from the sidelines and supportive when they need it, the more they're going to know that they can do anything that they set their minds to. They can achieve whatever they want and they can get whatever title they want. And if it doesn't happen right now, well, maybe this one wasn't the time, but the time will come. They will get it. They will succeed. And they are going to be so proud of themselves, the work that they put into. So being your child's cheerleader is a huge, huge bonding moment and a huge part of how well they do. Because again, it's not work. It's about them having fun and getting to be themselves and letting themselves and their beautiful, unique personalities shine. And the last thing I want to touch base on is according to their age. So of course, when you're with babies, you're going to hold them, right? So there's not as much the child themselves has to do. As they get older, of course, that level is going to be expected a little higher, just like in sports, just like in things like dance, just like in school. That being said, outfits that are too old for children or shoes that are too big of heels when they're only little, expecting your children to act like they're competing against teenagers, but they're 6-year-olds, that is, you're putting a lot of stress on your child, in my opinion. Your child, treat them as their age. Yeah, I understand wanting to expect them to act appropriate for their age and what they're doing. But again, for example, you're going to get a little more professionalism out of teenagers than you're going to get out of little kids. So don't be nervous or upset or irritated or frustrated with them if they're acting out a little bit or if they're a little fussy. It's a long day. And if they're young toddlers, you kind of got to expect that because you would expect it at home if they were having a day where they didn't nap or a day that was longer. You would kind of expect them to be a little cranky. So you need to remember as adults, and I know me personally as an adult, they're long days. And there's times that I have to remind myself, oh, okay, relax, just calm down, everything's going to be fine. So kids have that too. And they depend and they look at you for that reassurance and relaxation. So if you're expecting more for them than what they're mentally and physically able to do to their age, you're putting so much pressure on them that unfortunately it may not be fun for them anymore. Or they may be hard on themselves and start to be upset with themselves if they didn't do it to what they think your level that you wanted them to do it is. So I really think that people need to keep in mind, yes, these are pageants, but these are our children. And they are children and they have the right to be children. So let them be children. Let them compete to their ability and their age group, not striving to compete with people way older than them. That being said, you also don't want your child to compete the way a 2-year-old would if they're in the 12-year-old division, right? So, of course, there's standards that you and your child may have for them, but understand that they're realistic and keep them in that realistic kind of frame. I've been there. We've all been there where, sometimes we look at our kids and we're like, you could do better. We know you could do better. But we have to remember by saying that, yes, we're trying to give them support and we're trying to push them in a healthy way to do the best that they can. But we're not them and we don't know how much effort they're really putting in. So we could be pushing them too hard. And so just please always ask your kids' input. Always make sure that you are treating them their age, because there's different age divisions for a reason, and that's completely okay to allow your child to show themselves in a unique, beautiful way, because that is what matters. Is everybody's unique, everybody is different, everybody is beautiful, and everybody shines. So please, everyone, remember, have fun with your children. Go easy on yourselves, go easy on them. And remember that this is a fun, exciting experience to work on your confidence and to grow as a person. And it should be fun. You should always come out with a positive note, because everybody has room to improve. Everybody has where they're not as strong as somebody else may be. But at the end of the day, we all have fun and we all treat each other like a family, and that is what matters the most. I would love to hear any of your guys' advice or any comments in the section below about things that you have found interesting, or maybe questions you may have, or just your experiences. And until then, like and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you next week, where we will tackle some judging and some parents' dad input when it comes to pageant ads. So I can't wait to see you there.